Alright everyone, we start off today ridiculing all the weirdos that are trying to boycott Georgia over the non-existent voter suppression in their law that many of these people, I guarantee, have never actually looked into. Like, they actually believe the lamestream legacy media multi-billionaire globalists when they report, oh, this bill is terrible, it's going to disenfranchise people of color, or, whatever they're billing it as now. Even though you can objectively discredit this, if you tell a lie early and often enough, a lot of people will just absorb it, and no amount of countering will actually convince them otherwise. There are still people that think the Covington kids are a bunch of racists that went up to Native American marchers to mock them. Keeping that in mind, the small-minded lemmings of the world, it's always good to mock them. There's nothing else you can do. You can't convince them of the fact that they're wrong. So anyway, there will be, though, if you're watching this video on YouTube, a pinned comment, as well as links in the description, to 4 other video hosting sites, links to them, that I use. Keep in mind, I only do 2 videos now a day on YouTube. I've decided to cut back a little bit because I'm making 2 additional videos that are only on other sites. Those 4 in that description and in that pinned comment. And they tend to be better in some cases because, of course, there are certain subjects YouTube considers verboten now. The Gestapo at YouTube has decided you're not allowed to discuss certain political things, certain medical things, certain social things. It'll get you in trouble with the Gestapo there, so you put them on other sites. Anyway, the Major League Baseball has pulled out of Atlanta. I guess they're going to do their all-star game, whatever. There, and it's funny because there are people like, we're going to lose $100 million of tourist money because of the loss of Major League Baseball in Atlanta. I'm thinking to myself, first and foremost, look at the size of the Georgia economy. $100 million is nothing. Secondly, this will do far more damage to baseball than to Georgia. Let me explain why. Here's something that sports boycotting from the woke left, that the left just doesn't understand. Social justice warriors. The sort of limp-wristed little shrimp that have pink hair and eat nothing but soylent. And they in their organic seaweed salad and stuff. These are not the sort of people that enjoy sports. Now, speaking as a person who's not exactly athletic and also doesn't enjoy sports, mine comes from it's a waste of time backdrop, as opposed to the I could never do it backdrop because, I would cry all of the time and be very sensitive. Sports doesn't need to be woke. Sports is stupid to begin with. Football's stupid. Baseball's stupid. Hockey's stupid. Soccer's stupid. They're all fucking stupid. Volleyball is stupid. Well, volleyball is okay sometimes. Dodgeball is stupid. Sports are stupid. Nobody cares. So a bunch of dudes who are paid to hit a ball and then run around are going to try to lecture other people on political issues. Especially when neither the players nor the administrators, nor the attendant corporate sponsors, nor any of these other groups of people appear to have actually read about what this Georgia voting law actually entails. It doesn't decrease voting times at polling places. It sets a minimum cap and arguably increases the length of voting times. It doesn't ban you from giving water to people in a long line. It simply forces you to be back away from the polling place because of bribery laws. You can't bribe people into voting. If you're 150 feet away, nobody cares. And because of 3-foot social distancing or whatever it is now, that's like 50 people in line, dude. That's not that long. That's not a line that wraps twice around the block. You're not going to see people dying of heat stroke in the middle of November because they didn't get their bottle of water when they could also, by the way, bring their own. And the idea that black people or whatever, BIPOC, or the new racist term that they're using is BIPOC, basically, again, assuming that a person from the Pacific Islands is the same as a person whose family came over from the Congo 3 generations ago. It is in and of itself bigoted. It's very exclusionary because there's only one group of people that are not covered by that label. Anyone of European extraction. Interesting how that discrimination cuts in that direction now. But social justice warriors, do you think, which one's more likely to enjoy baseball? And they have their fantasy baseball team, and they look at the statistics in the sports page. Who's more likely to do that? The 90-pound, 5-foot-tall dude with pink hair and 5 pronouns? Or the fucking redneck? The fucking redneck. And the fucking redneck doesn't want to hear about this woke bullshit. They're more likely to just say, okay, well, I guess I have to find a different sport now. Look, this happened already. It happened to football. When the players started taking knees and others very bravely decided to stand against the woke crowd and got booed for it in some cases, when that happened, what happened to the ticket sales? What happened to the merch sales? What happened to the long-term stability of the franchise? And really, it's just a for-profit corporation anyway. These sports franchises, it isn't like maybe fucking 50, 60 years ago, a bunch of dudes maybe getting together with their bros for brats and beer, and then running around in a muddy field in a snowstorm or something. It's not like that anymore. It is hyper-regulated. It's almost a microcosm of government when you think about it. Literally, all sorts of rules and regulations governing literally every aspect of fucking sports. Sports is exploitative anyway. We've seen, for instance, Major League Basketball propping up Beijing's propagandistic talking points time and time again because of corporate sponsorships, because it ties to Nike and stuff like the Reebok. We've seen this. It's exploitative. We've had all sorts of scandals where players were basically exploited. They're being paid, what in their particular line of work can arguably be considered too little. When you're spending all day with a 400-pound dude named Refrigerator rushing at you and smashing you to the ground, maybe you should get a little bit more money, and it shouldn't all go to, I don't know, the people who own the sports stadium and stuff. It's all corporatized bullshit at this point. And that's not just, I'm not going to single out baseball. Baseball may be one of the more boring sports, and I don't understand why it ever became popular. They're all like that, but it's just ridiculous. It's really, really funny because, like, the Lincoln Project page. Remember when they pretended to be disaffected Republicans before the election? And now they're very open about the fact that, no, they're actually liberals, and they never were, conservative or anything like that. They weren't trying to bring back that staunch, wonderful Bush conservatism to the Republican Party. They wanted to debase it, and they failed largely miserably. Now, it's funny to see them siding with, like, sports teams. Again, more corporations. Billionaires. That's what this is about. You've got a situation where the majority of multi-billion-dollar globalistic corporations, many of which participate to some degree in environmental degradation, slave labor overseas, your concentration camps and sweatshops and shit, favelas in South America, Central America. The majority of these corporations are now grandstanding on wokeness to try to sell their products. Until they start feeling more pain for doing so, like Gillette learned the hard way, that will continue. At some point, people are going to get tired of it because they're going to say, hey, the product hasn't gotten better. The sports haven't gotten more entertaining. It's still just a bunch of dudes running around aimlessly and a stupid announcer talking about things I don't give a fucking shit about. It's still stupid. It's still boring. The product still sucks. Why am I listening to this corporation that's inevitably run by multi-billionaires with multinational ties? But they'll face consequences because they're getting away from... When you try to go woke and your audience is skewed, not completely, but skewed relatively heavily towards a demographic that I think generally doesn't like the wokeness thing. Largely male audience. When you're talking about most sports, you're talking about an audience that is majority male, number one. In many cases, especially with baseball, majority white. And majority not going to be soy-drinking, effete New York City dwellers or people from San Francisco that spend 12 hours a day as code monkeys. When you therefore go woke and you tell people, well, Georgia's voter law that actually extends voting hours is racist because black people are somehow less able to get an ID than white people in the United States, that's just going to piss people off. It's not actually going to make the franchise more popular. Baseball has been stupid for years. Look, you go to a stadium, sit way back, you pay $100 to watch people hit a ball and to eat rubber franks that cost $15 and pretend to be having a good time. What's the fucking point, dude? It doesn't make any goddamn sense. If you're going to waste a bunch of money like that, you might as well at least waste it on something that's entertaining by going to a bowling alley or something. Why don't you just go to the liquor store, get loaded, and go bowling or something? Hell, save up all that money you spent going to the sports venue over the course of the last 10 years. Save it up and build a man cave and have like a pool table and like brats for your bros or something if you want to do the sports thing. Have your fantasy football league. You have a computer in there and everything, running all sorts of statistics. It'll be more entertaining. I'm going to pay $100 for the official sports brand jersey. Yay! Look how cool I am. I wasted my money. Yeah, oh, okay. I'm sure that a lot of people with pink hair really care about baseball, dude. Dude, they couldn't even name the fucking teams. The kind of people that this actually aspires to win over, to make them happy, the social justice or the cringe fringe types. Now, watching sports, Yeah, they're getting exercise. It's when they lift up the brick to throw it through the shop window while they're rioting. That's the sort of people that this is aimed at. It's horseshit. That's about all. Peace out.